Were you out at Cape Cod?
I was out in
Provincetown?
Yeah.
So was I.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I moved there in 1970, and I didn't.
Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't leave there until I came down here.
I was there at the same time. Do you remember the orchestra, Joe Hawthorne?
Yeah.
I was playing trumpet in that orchestra.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. I knew the Hawthornes in general.
Oh, did you?
It was a big, I was a
very important family in the annals of art.
But I was there year-round, so in the wintertime, everybody got to know each other.
Portuguese bread, the best Portuguese bread I've ever had in my life. What a great place.
Well, we should...
Actually, just let me tell you, we were in a building in a small place that Jackson Pollock actually had lived in, and the walls, because he couldn't pay the rent, the walls were filled with his paintings on the wall, and the Kleins were there.
Right. Franz and I didn't know his wife, but Franz Klein and Hans Hoffman. And,
I got to give this guy a hug.
We'll have another conversation, and we'll catch up, and I bet you we have a lot of friends in common.
Oh, we must.
Yeah.
What was the name of the OK Harris Gallery?
Oh, yeah. So his name is Ivan Carter.
Ivan.
Yeah.
Oh, Ivan was a friend of mine.
Yeah. He was a character too.
Yeah, as a matter.
He did, super well in New York.
He did, yeah. But he was one of the early patrons of rock and roll, and he and I had really to-dos about it, because it took me a while till I got around to the rock and roll.
That was one of my questions.
I know. I'll save that for later.
Well, no, we can go into it anytime, because we can rearrange these at any point. And it was, how did your musical interests and influences and whatnot change as you went through these different decades, which had different forms of music which were preeminent, I guess?
As a trumpet player, I really did it all. I played Broadway shows, I did the Dolly show, I did No Strings, I did a whole bunch of the Superman show and then those shows when they were on Broadway. I did a little bit of off-Broadway. I was first trumpet in the Manhattan Brass Quintet, which was doing a lot of stuff in New York in those days. I was first trumpet player with the Woody Herman Band. Les Elgart, Larry Elgart, the Sort of Finnegan Orchestra. I don't know if these names mean anything to you, but they were big in those days. And had a good time with Woody's band especially. That was a great group, and Woody was good to me. Saw him years and years later. It's an interesting story I could tell you when I got into college teaching. But and so I did a lot of that stuff, and I was around when the transition was happening from jazz through, actually Elvis had a lot to do it by singing the blues so much, and then rock and roll came along and was very big when the Beatles hit. Was I ever into that? No, I really was never an integral part of the rock scene, never, and I appreciated it. It just wasn't who I was. And in those days, if you were a musician doing rock and roll, it meant you laid on the ground and played and did all kinds of stupid things around running around the hall, and that's just not who I was. I don't know if it was snobbery or pureness, but that's just not what I wanted to do. And so rock never really affected me. The blues somewhat, but blues in a jazz sense. Flatted fifths, the sevenths, and those kind of things. But not in the blues as we think of it folk-wise.